Now, Akia, you call it an inspirational journey through the shadows of Akia's own life.
Yes.
You are obviously very beautiful and a
Thank you.
beautiful, beautiful spirit.
Thank you.
You transform shadows into beautiful spirits. How do you do that?
Um, Shadows resemble something that's in the dark, waiting to come to light, or a reflection of who you are or what you've been through. So I think that from my own journeys and my own stories of the songs that are on the album, also I tell others' journeys and stories. All of the songs don't necessarily relate to my life, but all of them someone can relate to. And so I think some people will actually get liberated from some of the music on the album because of what the messages are. And it's not all like inspirational. It's some personal that like it's one that's called Don't Have the Time. And that's about someone who's in a relationship and they know they don't have the time to deal with it anymore, so they're out, So it's some cynical things on that album too.
He was a man, past tense.
He was a man. Actually, you know what? He was a man was really about my father. Because just recently, actually, you know what? I have a little brief testimony. Of course, about 2 years ago, I said that I would want to do an album, but I let Larry do his, and then now I said 2 years later. Well, I got notification that I was going to be in the Jacksonville Jazz Festival. I was accepted into that Jacksonville Jazz Festival 2017, and I said, well, I cannot do it without an album. So here it is, 3 weeks later, was the Jacksonville Jazz Fest with no album. And I fast-tracked it. I called up my photographer, James Sleinfeld, who's high def, and he did my photo shoot and my graphics for my album, so thank you very much. I went into my friend's boutique, Tanya, with Boutique 316. I said, and she said, oh, I have to dress you for the Jazz Fest. I said, oh, and also I will be using that for the album. Thank you very much. And so I did that. Ingrid, Miss Ingrid M, fantastic makeup artist. She did makeup. I mean, that was done in one day. Well, when I sat down with Larry and told him the concept of the songs that I had, which, I had already kind of mapped them out on my phone, I sat down and said, okay, we got to do this. He said, that's very aggressive, Kia, and you only have like 3 weeks before the Jazz Fest. So, you got to come in here like 3 times a week for like 4 hours a day. And I was like, okay, I got to do what I got to do. Now, mind you, none of the original songs were written other than You Seem Familiar. Okay? The other 3 covers and then You Seem Familiar were the only ones written. I have 11 songs on the CD. So I was like, okay, got to do what got to do. And I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get any sleep. So anyhow, that same week, I got a call that from my dad's wife saying, it looks like your daddy is not doing well. He's not really saying much, but he's not doing well. So my dad, maybe about 3 years ago, he had 7 strokes in 6 months time frame, and he was staying with me at the time, and because of his health, and so I knew what the signs were for his strokes, and I said, so once she told me what was going on, I said, okay, I need to come to Atlanta because they stay in Atlanta now, and because it sounds like my dad is having signs of having another stroke, and I need to go to the doctors with you. So I did. I went to Atlanta, and they did the CAT scan, everything, and they said, well, we see, past infections of stroke symbols, but not anything new. And I said, well, this doesn't sound right. His speech is a little slurred. His gait, which is his walk and his stance, is a little off. His appetite. This sounds like he's having another stroke. Well, he's okay, da-da-da, and so forth. So I came back to Jacksonville. Now, this is all within 3 weeks of the album being done. The next week, I get a call. My dad had a stroke. So I panicked. This is 2 weeks before the Jazz Fest now. And I'm like, oh, my God, I got to go back. And I talked to his wife. She said, no, he's okay. The hospital has him. And it's been discussed that he's going to the a skilled nursing facility afterwards for rehab. So it's nothing you can do. I will keep you informed as far as your dad is concerned. and we'll go from there. I said, okay. So that motivated me to not only finish my album in time, because it reminded me of our lives can be over like in a blink of an eye. We don't know when our last day is here on earth in this lifetime. So I said, you know what? If I would have lost my dad, what are the words I would say as a representation of his life and what it means to me? So he was a man was born. And that's how he was a man was born. And I still finished that whole album in 2.5 weeks, just I did. And it's dynamic, I must say. And I'm not just, I'm not just speaking, for myself, of course, be a little biased, but from what others have said and the debut. And I end up doing that whole, maybe about six or seven songs off the album I did at the Jazz Fest Live. So finished it. It was getting mixed and mastered that Tuesday and Wednesday. It was getting duplicated Thursday and Friday. Printed hot off the press Friday, and my jazz performance was Saturday, and we rocked it.
Amazing, Akia.
Thank you.
And in that time, you did a movie, right? Wonder Woman came out.
I was like, what movie that I didn't get paid for?
Speaking of